Fresh snow makes the forest come alive. It can look like a postcard until the real work begins. Today, just taking you behind the scenes of this off-grid winter life, where the beautiful side and the demanding side come together. From snowy trails to quiet wildlife moments, to shoveling paths and clearing vehicles and digging out buildings and prepping for the next storm. This is the part of winter most people never see. Whether you live off-grid or just a homestead or simple love of nature, the video shows the reality behind that perfect snowfall look. Winter, it is beautiful, but it also brings daily work, planning, and problem solving. Here, I'll show you where I put together a new snow rake for raking snow. We'll be snow shoveling around buildings, clearing paths to camps and cars and outhouses and wood, snow blowing, roof clearing, and fresh snowy trail scenes. With those nature moments, maybe some wildlife signs, and some cooking. This is the good and the bad of a pretty snowfall. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. And if you enjoy this type of thing with nature, wildlife, and some honest on-grid living, you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me. Let's see what happened on the snowy trails after this. The packaging's very light. The parts are very light. And it just comes with the blade, a couple of braces, 3 screws, 1 nut, and some wrenches, the Allen key, and a little wrench to hold the nut on. You can get a $20 gift back, and it's got a 2-year warranty. Little instruction booklet. If all else fails, read the instructions. Just shows you all the components that are in the package and explains to you the pieces and how to put it together. So I'll just take a minute and take a glance over it all. And found out that it has a little cap on the end. It said if you store it, to save that cap, just put it on the ends. Nothing goes inside, it's hollow. It's telescopic. You can extend it to any length you want, up to 21 feet. Here I'm just trying it out. It says you should extend it to attach the blade. I didn't really need to extend all that bottom. It's mostly the top, because that's where your blade's going to go, and you need to be able to get at the fittings. So here I'm just fully extending it to see what it's like, testing out the connections. Of course, the longer it gets, the flimsier it'll be, but it still works good. So now I'm just gathering up the parts. And you don't want to drop anything in the snow, of course. You won't find it. Very easy to snap on. There's 2 little buttons that you push down so that it clears and then snaps into place on the blade. Now, of course, over time that's not going to hold it alone. So I've laid it out to put on the metal strapping. Just opening up the packages with the metal strapping. You'll notice that they have a little bend to them, 1 on each end. It only goes one way. The one that is bent the most is the one that you put towards the rod itself. When I put on the first one, I didn't do that because they are very similar, but you can see with your own eyes that it doesn't line up as well if you don't have the groove in the right place. So here I am just testing out one of them, and it goes on no problem, but it wasn't the right way. So I'm just moving around so you can see some more here. And you can see I've got that end on. You'll think that there's screws and bolts missing because you're so used to having 4, but there's only 3. You only need 1 for the main rod. So here I am realizing that, yes, this is the better way to put the groove towards the rod itself. They're very easy to start by hand, the little X nuts and bolts. You turn them by hand to get them in place before you tighten them with the tools that they provided in the package. And you can see right away it fits better because it's actually holding the rod into place. And here's where I discover, oh, I'm going to take that off and flip it around. And that's why it's good not to tighten anything steadfast tight until you're sure that you have it in the right position. It's a little harder to do here, holding it facing the camera. Here we go. You have it all ready. Put that up into place. Now this is what I found the most challenging part, was getting that last long bolt through, because it has to pass through the ends of the metal rods and the pole itself, and you have to line that up. This takes a little maneuvering to get it right. And finally, after a couple of tries, it lines up and goes through. Then carefully you have to put on the little nut that they provided in the bag. It's only one way that it really goes on, is the concave side towards you. So screw that on by hand as far as it'll go to hold it in place. Didn't realize how cool it was. You can see the steam. And then if you're lucky, you'll find the little wrenches in your pocket. Now first, when I was tightening it, I used the opposite end because I found the little handle gets in the way. You'll notice later that I reverse it to the proper holding position once it clears the metal bars. I'm just tightening that up. And one thing, when you're doing it the opposite way, like I am here, it won't pull the nuts tight and bolts because it's not in the right position. I tried to do it with my gloves on where it was colder, but that just doesn't work. It's too bulky. So here I am, flipping the tool around, and it really does make a difference once it clears the little metal rods and getting it tighter. You want to make sure that they're tight so that you don't lose any pieces. And it probably gives it more strength as well. It'll be firmer together. It's kind of like putting studs and bolts back on your tires. You gotta make sure that they're right. Of course, I didn't torque this, but I know that it's gonna be on there plenty strong and not wear. That's the proper way to hold the hex tool. And there you go. It's together. And there's the wrenches they provided. If I'll ever find them again. So I don't have it fully extended out to get the idea. So let's give it a try. You can see that I haven't extended a ways because it's bobbing with the weight. I'm going to go over and clean that greenhouse off. Now I know my buildings are strong enough to handle the snow, but there's a heavy rain coming. And the wet snow will get even heavier. So, when you have an opportunity to do something right and be preventative, then it's probably better that you do it. So, here I am just cleaning off the rooftops. And there's probably 6 to 8 inches on most of the rooftops. And the good thing about it changing to rain and going mild is whatever I've gotten off, it'll be easier for the rain and the water to drain, and it'll keep the roof clear. It'll melt totally off. So that's less snow for the next one. Less weight. There I am disappearing out of sight. Machine pulling the rest down from the opposite side. That's why I like leaving spaces around my buildings so I can get at them to do this. And it comes down very easily, especially where it's slight pattern. So I'll just continue on doing this and clearing up all the buildings so we're ready for the next storm. Sometimes you might hook a piece of ice, but it breaks up and comes down easily. So this is just another way to get your exercise when you live in upgrade. And in fairly no time at all, your building is a lot lighter on the rooftop. Now I'll just go around and look at different ones that need to be taken care of. Here's just a little fuel shed. Extra gas cans, just get that all cleared down. And off. And that's what it's like, the good and the bad of a pretty snowfall. The work begins after it's here. But the good thing is, you can enjoy the change of seasons. Thanks for joining me for part 1. If you'd like to continue, part 2 is just ahead. If you're coming back later, just hit save. Continue on in part 2. We all know that fresh snow is beautiful, but it sure adds to the to-do list. And my dog couldn't agree with it more. Snow is magical, but here's the work it brings. In between the magical nature moments, out here, every snowfall adds another layer to the list. You've got your vehicles, to the roofs, to the trails, just to get around. But even in the middle of all the work, winter always finds a way to show its beauty. In the end, winter gives and winter takes. And that's the balance. It's why I love living this way. And now that my snow chores are done for now, it'll be time to create a nice little fire here out at the camp, do a little cookout, and listen to the wildlife as the water drips from the trees. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget, smash that like button, share, comment. I love the comments. Getting back to you and connecting. Really appreciate all the support and have the best day ahead.